Hello, everyone, or no one. Oh dear, I just thought I would come on. I've got an hour or so to kill, and thought, well, I wasn't in the mood for making a special video today, so I thought, I'll just come on and see if anyone's around, and looks like somebody is, unless that one person in the chat is me. I have no idea. Don't be shy. Oh, you run away again. Okay. Funny. Oh dear, oh dear. So yeah. What have I been doing? Well, I've been reading a lot. As you know, we've got the August of Adventures on, and that's proving to be good fun. Finished Treasure Island, which was the book we had to read for the first week. I finished Lost World, which was the book we had to read for the second week. And it's all good. I ended up reading, in addition to The Lost World, I read Edgar Rice Burroughs' The Land That Time Forgot, which was quite interesting. The two are similar up to a point. If you're joining in the chat, feel free to say something. Chat and ask away, ask questions. Tell me what you're reading, what you're doing, how you're spending your Sunday. Otherwise, I'll just ramble on and on. It's not a problem for me. I quite enjoy listening to the sound of my own voice. Yeah, I am live, Sean. Yeah, I'm just bored, man. I got like an hour or so to kill before I've got to go out with Elvis, and I thought, well, I'm not going to have time to maybe make a video today, so I just, I hadn't thought of what I was going to do. So you're melting. It's still hot there. Yeah, I would have asked you, man, but that was the reason I didn't ask you, because you said you weren't making any this weekend because it's too damn hot. I'm just enjoying the last day of coolness before we head off into the hot weather again next week. So yeah. So what have you been doing, Sean? Have you managed to do any reading, or is it too hot for even that? I've got 3 people here. Please talk. Say something. I mean, I don't mind talking to myself, but oh dear. Treasure Island on Classic Tales podcast. He's only released 4 of the 7 episodes so far. Really enjoying that serial experience. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Is he doing the voices as well, or because that's the hard thing. That's the challenge, to do the old pirate voices. I don't know the podcast, but I do now, thanks to you. So I'll definitely check it out. So Sean, your brain is mush. Is it really just down to the heat, or is that just a normal state of So you're not here to defend yourself. So no, I do like listening to podcasts. In fact, my first foray into this kind of thing was podcasts. I released one during the first wave of the pandemic. So I think I only had about 8 episodes, but it was good fun. I really enjoyed it. I actually had guests on quite a lot, and quite a lot in 8 episodes. I think there were maybe 2 episodes where it was only me, and the others I had some guests on, so that was kind of good fun. But I haven't really done that. I did start again releasing the Short Story Saturday as a podcast, because it's easy to just rip out the audio and pop it onto some kind of podcast thing. Yeah. Have you got any other podcasts you can recommend then? Well, it's pretty tough, Sean. Having all that heat, it isn't nice. I was speaking to my family, and they were saying it's pretty bad. Also listening to The Night of the Necropolis by Sax Roma on the same podcast. Aha. Well, it sounds really good. Classic Tales podcast. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out. Definitely sounds like something right up my alley. No, I just meant any podcasts in general. I love, one I really enjoy is, oh gosh, what's it called? Oh, I've completely forgotten. Mine's gone blank. It's a history one with Tom Holland and somebody else. I really enjoy that one. I cannot for the life of me think what that podcast is now. History something. I guess the wonders of having Google at your fingertips. I can always check, can't I? History podcast from Holland. It is The Rest is History. You see, I should have got that. The Rest is History. That's a good podcast. It's good fun. And another one I really like. Oh, were you? Another one I really like is. I'm terrible. I'm just like Sean. Then I guess my brain's melting too. You're Dead to Me. You're Dead to Me. That's kind of good fun. It's a BBC history podcast. And they usually have like a historian and a comedian on, and they talk about things a bit similar, I suppose, to Infinite Monkey Cage, where they have the physicist and the comedian on that, and that's good fun. But I do enjoy a good podcast, I have to say. Problem is, I tend to put them on when I go to bed, and then I fall asleep very quickly. Good afternoon, Michael. Hope you're doing well. History Hit, yeah, that's Dan Snow's network, isn't it? Yeah, they do some good things. I think it's very interesting. History Hit. There's some good ones from the BBC. I listened to a really great one recently, which was about Nottingham County or Nottingham Forest Football Club and some kind of connection with like the Russian mafia and all sorts of things. It was really, really interesting. I, again, can't remember the name of it, but it was a BBC Sports one. They have a whole series of sports stories, which isn't my normal cup of tea, but it was very interesting and very enjoyable. Definitely. How are you, Michael? How are you spending this Sunday, if you're still here? Because I know 2 people have left, so I don't know which 2 people have stayed behind. So, or 3 people now are here. So. Yes, it's getting pretty late, isn't it, in Hong Kong at the moment? It's about 10, 11. It's the problem, isn't it, when you chat through these things, because you're reliant on people giving you their full attention and typing immediately and very quickly. Otherwise, you're kind of just waiting along and rumbling through. I'm still here. That's good, Michael. Yes, no, I was speaking to family in England. They were saying it's pretty horrific. It's only 7:45. Yeah, it's pretty horrific in the UK at the moment. We've got it next week. I'm not looking forward to it at all. Been very lucky over the weekend. It's been quite cool, which is nice. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they seem to always end up in some kind of chaos, unfortunately, in the UK with these things, like the water shortages and all that stuff. So what are you having for dinner then, if you're cooking your dinner? Anything interesting? Oh, hi, Philip. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Alice Roberts. Yes. I haven't actually seen any of her. Are they specialized YouTube videos, or are they just YouTube videos from her television shows? Dictators. Yes, I know that one as well. Blame the chaos on Boris. Works for you. Okay, Sean. Will do. I don't need any encouragement to blame him. Philip, you're melting as well. Gosh, I feel sorry for all of you in the UK who are melting away. And I guess nobody's got air conditioning at home. It's not very usual, is it, for us to have air conditioning? It is one thing I wasn't going to do, because I mentioned it a few times that I'm building a house, and I wasn't going to install air conditioning, but I have decided that is indeed going to be the case, but only in the bedrooms. I think it's better. Dinner, eggs in purgatory, easy stuff for a Sunday night. I have to plead ignorance. What are eggs in purgatory? I've heard it before. I can't for the life of me remember what that is. Michael Moore, I think maybe 15-minute clips from her TV series. Yeah, but she's very good, Alice Roberts. She's great fun. Another one I like is Bethany Hughes. I think she's a very good historian. I wanted to put her on my list, actually, when I made the historians list, but unfortunately, I'd only read one book, so I didn't think it was fair when I'd read more of the others. So Yeah. What are you doing this Sunday, Philip? Anything interesting? So what is it? It's about lunchtime over in the UK, isn't it? An hour behind. So I guess too hot for a roast dinner. I'm sure there will be a lot of Brits that will still be sitting down to a roast dinner, regardless of how hot it is. 27 degrees in the Lake District. Well, you can go and jump in one of the lakes, Philip, can't you? If it's too hot. Poor man's shakshuka. That's the not gosh, baked, isn't it? The baked eggs. Yeah. That sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good. I'd say my own food is rather boring at the moment. I've been on this diet for the last 2 months, and it's pretty much high protein. So every day has been the same, but it's working at least. So I'm pleased about that. And I didn't think I would be able to to stick to it, but I have done, and it's very nice feeling when you can put on a shirt that you couldn't get on before, and it works. Salad for sure, Philip, and reading a fun book called Achtung Schweinhund that I think you'll enjoy by Harry Pearson. Okay, yeah, that does sound again like something up my alley. It's a what is it exactly? Is it a history book, a kind of light-hearted take on certain aspects of the Second World War? So, Fox Folios, when do you go back to work? I go back to work. I'm not entirely sure. I go back on. I think not this Thursday, but the next Thursday. We tend to go back 1 week before the start of school, and it doesn't matter what day that falls on. So school starts on the 1st September, and I think that will be a Wednesday or a Thursday, if I'm right. Yeah, it's a Thursday. So I'll go back the Thursday before that, which will be the 25th. Yeah. So so I have to go back to work on Thursday, and then probably Friday don't have to go to work because they probably won't make us. And also, I'm not a class teacher, so what I need to prepare and get ready is much more limited than those who have form teachers and things who have their own classes that they have to do all the admin work and stuff for. And then basically, so we have a week at school without the kids. Then the first week at school, we have the kids, but we don't really do anything in terms of normal lessons because of all the admin stuff that has to be done. So probably I won't start teaching properly until the second week of September. So, nice. And then I think it's like maybe 3 weeks later or 2.5 weeks later, we have a public holiday, and I got a funny feeling it falls on a Thursday, and we might have the Friday off because it's like a bridge day. So it'd be quite nice, really. 10 days or so of freedom. Yes, that's true. Well, I will start teaching a couple of private lessons that I do from this Thursday, but it's all right. I mean, it's only an hour, I think, on Thursday evening, and 2 hours on Thursday evening, so it's all right. It's good fun. 32 degrees here outside, to go up to the mid-30s, add 10 more for indoors. Yeah, that's terrible, Sean. I don't know how you do it. I'm surely the books must suffer as well, don't they? I mean, if it's humid. Philip Nicholson, subtitled A Boy's Own Story of Imaginary Combat. So about growing up in the UK in the 60s and 70s and being fascinated by World War II and all the toys, etc. Then as a grown-up, he got really into war games. That does sound interesting. Yeah. I used to love Action Man when I was a kid. Yeah, I used to have one of the Action Men. I don't know if anybody else had one, but it had the this, I don't know what you call it, switch or something on the back of his head. You could move it, slide it with your finger, and it would cause his eyes to move from side to side. That's great fun. Yeah, the old Action Man. I think it was like the original GI Joes in America, because they were bigger, kind of like Barbie sized or bigger, I think. Because when I was a kid, the GI Joes, because I had that kind of thing when I was in Bermuda as a kid. We got a lot of American things, and we yeah, they were smaller in those days. They were more like those kind of action figures. But Action Man, yeah, it was great fun. You know, he used to have his cropped close hair and everything, and you could get different colored hair and whatnot. So yeah, and I think I had a Jeep for him and all that kind of stuff. So loved Action Man and the Victor, etc. Michael Moore Phillips should catch up with Chandon. Yeah. Oh dear. I was watching someone's video today, and I have a question because you guys watch YouTube and stuff. A Chandos, yeah. I was wondering if you meant the Chandos books. Yeah, I think Philip would like the Chandos series. It's quite good. We're enjoying it. Yeah, Philip, it's part of the Misplaced Authors thing Sean and I are doing. Michael's also with us, as well as Hester, who's another subscriber. It's by a chap called Dawnford Yates. That's his pen name. And he wrote this series featuring the hero Richard Chandos. It's kind of good, 1920s, adventure stuff. Think similar to John Buchan, So yeah. But anyway, I was watching this video, and I notice a lot of people when they're on their videos, they always ask people to like and subscribe, and it seems very repetitive to me. Is it something that bothers you as viewers? I don't know. I don't think I ever do it, and I don't feel I've suffered from it. I'm just wondering or curious as to your opinion of people who is going, welcome to my channel. Remember to like and subscribe. And I'm always thinking, to me, it's a bit weird asking people to like and subscribe before you've seen what they have to offer. I don't know. I can understand it more at the end, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Because you might not like what I'm going to say, and then you subscribe and then unsubscribe because you don't want to do it. Maybe I'm just a bit funny that way, but I do think it's sometimes a bit odd when I see that, Yeah. Hello, subscribe and like my channel. It's Yeah, I'm glad, Philip. I think I think it annoys me as well a little bit. That's why I try and avoid it. When I started, I think I did it a couple of times. I might have also had it in the description of the video, like buried somewhere. But I just feel embarrassed asking for it as well. Sorry, Elvis bringing toys. Yeah, and I know some of the booktubers were saying, you should like videos automatically because you're liking the effort that went into it. But even though I'd be happy if that was the case, but I'm not sure. Again, I don't think I could like something that I actually didn't like. I appreciate everybody's effort, but I don't always agree, of course, with everything that's put out there, right? So I'm not going to maybe automatically give something a thumbs up. It depends who it is. I mean, I've become good friends with quite a lot of other booktubers, so I'm inclined to like their stuff, of course, immediately. But if it's kind of the first couple of times and I don't know them that well, I'm going to wait and see, and then give it a like. I feel like they deserve something from me, so I might get like halfway through the video and I'll be like, yeah, no, I like this. There we go, thumbs up, super. Dear. What have we got there? Michael Moore, the file in history becomes very long. Which one are we talking about there? The videos, probably. Yeah. No, it's strange, these things. I don't know. As I say, I don't feel comfortable necessarily doing all that. Hey ho. Yes, Philip, I have. I've heard of Spybury. It's very good. Great podcast. Haven't seen the YouTube channel, actually. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I like very much as a podcast as well, Cold War Conversations. And it was because of them how I heard of Spybury. Cold War Conversations, if you haven't seen it or listened to it, is well worth your time. I think if you're interested in history, social history, and the former, Soviet Pact countries, Warsaw Pact countries, rather, it's kind of interesting. it's one of the things I like or find interesting living here is when I get to talk to people about, life under socialism, communism, and things like that. So 125 best spy authors. That's a lot of spy authors to go through. I mean, it took me a while to do 15 historians, but 125? Blimey. Yeah. No, Cold War Conversations is really good. Yeah. Of course, yeah, it's just one of those things I never imagined, as a child, that I'd ever be living in a country that was, behind the Iron Curtain. It's kind of weird, really, how it worked out. And they still have long memories, especially in some of the villages. I remember once we were heading off to the local village pub, and the father of the guy I was with, he was drunk, and he started talking about, the communism and what a catastrophe it was, as he said. And he was talking about some villagers who were, informants and this kind of thing. One of them was, we were passing their house, and he yelled abuse even then, and it's like all these years later, it's like, oh dear, oh dear. Michael, yeah, what made me move here? Yeah, it's a weird thing, really. I didn't have any big desire to come here, especially. I had been teaching and living in Asia. I had done a few years in China, in Japan, and then Hong Kong, and then I moved back to the UK, and I started working in telecommunications for a while, and then I realized it really wasn't for me, and I wanted to go back to teaching English, and I thought, well, I'm not going to go all the way back to Asia as much as I'd like to, because my parents were getting on, and I thought, well, I don't want to be too far away. Let's find somewhere in Europe. And I was telling this to one of my colleagues, because the department I worked in was split between Reading in the United Kingdom and Ostrava in the Czech Republic. And I was talking to a couple of the Czech girls, and they were saying, well, why don't you come and teach English in the Czech Republic? And I thought, well, yeah, why not, actually? Why not? So I quit my job. I applied for a native English speaking position in a small town in Eastern Bohemia. And here I am 10 years later. And now I've got a full-time job, and I'm enjoying it. It's nice here. And I don't think I'll leave now. I think it's, as I say, I'm building a house. I've got a dog. I have no real desire to leave. I really enjoy the work I do, the job I have. I'm very lucky. So I think, I think this is it for me, probably until retirement. Maybe when I hit my 60s, Elvis and I will spend the Czech winters perhaps in sunnier climes, maybe Portugal or something like that. Yeah. Isn't that right, Elvis? Yeah. It's always amazing to me how many teachers there are on BookTube. I don't, perhaps it isn't maybe that surprising. I don't know, but does seem to be one of the most represented occupations of booktubers. I don't really know what everybody does. The teachers, I generally know that they're teachers, but it's kind of interesting to see what maybe some of the other people do, but I'm not sure. And whereabouts? So Philip, you're in the Lake District, and Michael, which part of the UK are you living in? And gosh, there's 12 people here. Feel free to ask or chat or say anything you want to. I'm here for at least, I don't know, maybe another half hour or so. Just kind of killing the time between walks. Isn't that right? Yeah. Because I didn't prepare anything to make for a video today, and I thought, oh, I'll release one. So Hertfordshire. Super. Foxfolios, if you don't mind sharing, feel free to tell me to mind my own business. What's the legal situation as a foreigner owning property in Czech Republic? Hi, Vonta. Hello. The legal situation isn't really a situation at the moment, at least for me, because it used to be you couldn't own property here. I can't remember when that changed. However, of course, with the EU and all that kind of thing and equality, that changed. So at least EU citizens could buy property here. And I bought mine after the dreaded B word, and that took place not when we officially left, I think, but certainly after the vote. I bought it back in 2020, and I had permanent residency. So I've lived here now for 10 years, and you can get permanent residency after 5 years. And under like the protection of the withdrawal agreement for British citizens living in the European Union, our rights within the country remain protected and unchanged. So it means that I cannot be discriminated against as a third party national in some ways, and that's one of them. So I'm allowed to own land. I'm not sure, for example, if a third party national can. So if you are American or from somewhere in Africa, I don't know how that works. But yeah, it's not an issue. I still have the same rights I had before Brexit within the Czech Republic only now. I do have, I mean, there are some differences. We do get a little bit of extra benefits, like, for example, they shouldn't stamp our passports because it just causes confusion. Because now, of course, if you're British and you go to France on holiday, they have to stamp your passport, and then you're subject to only being able to spend, I think, is it 90 days within a 180 days period. And if you overstay, of course, it's a problem. Whereas for British people living in the European Union, at least the home country doesn't stamp the passport, because, of course, that would start the clock and then it would look very odd. Then also, I live right on the Polish border, and I've been there a couple of times now. Technically, it's probably illegal in some respects because I should have to stamp, but it's so confusing because I should probably have to have this passport stamped. But they're in Schengen, and I'm already in the Schengen, and I suppose each time I pop to Poland for an hour, it puts on the clock that I've been in the Schengen zone. But of course, there's no way to know that, is there? So, and there's no border post for me to get, stamped. So it's just a risk, I guess, one has to take. So how are you, Vonta? How's it going? Yeah. I guess it's wasn't much easier before, of course, but I don't know. Well, I'm not going to get political, but I honestly just don't understand it. It's very frustrating, especially for those of us who live within the European Union, the changes and things we've had to make. And the weird thing is, actually comes now with health insurance. I'm completely covered automatically throughout the whole of the European Union, except, of course, if I go back to the UK. So if I go and visit my family and I get taken ill, theoretically, I would have to pay. I would have to pay for my own health treatment, or get travel insurance, to cover any medical expenses I would have back in England. Even though, of course, I have obviously paid tax in my time, and I have a national insurance card, so it's a strange thing for sure. Really? You see, I have to watch and listen to something while I'm eating. All right. Well, thanks for joining. See you later. So, what are people reading? Anything interesting? You spending Sunday afternoon reading? I've made a start on Tarzan. Pretty good so far, I have to say. I haven't read it before. It's a new one on me. I know Michael K. Vaughan always goes on and on about it. So it seems like it's going to be quite interesting. I think the only time I've come up against Tarzan was that 84, 85 film Greystoke with Christopher Lambert. So yeah, I mean, I'm only two maybe 3 chapters in, Vonta, but it's good actually. It's good. It's better. The writing style is better, at least I think, than The Land That Time Forgot, which is what I read in conjunction with The Lost World by Land That Time Forgot by Burroughs, of course, and Lost World by Conan Doyle. It felt a bit stilted at first, but then I got into it. I found it very interesting. There was quite an interesting premise, I thought. I need to read the next 2 books, though, because annoyingly, the story didn't end. So I have to really find out what happens by picking them up. They're not very long. I think they're just around 100 pages each, so that should be fine. And of course, there are a load of Tarzans, but I think for now, at least, I'm only going to do the first one. Because got King Solomon's Mines the week after next, or the week after this. So, okay, Michael. Yeah, Perishable Goods. I'm a bit stalled on that, but it's nothing to do with that book. It's just that I have it on one of my Kindles, and I just put it away somewhere, and I've been using different ones. So I've been reading Tarzan instead. Very literary, Carrie. Hello, everyone. Just popping in to say happy Sunday, Mark. Thank you very much, Carrie. It's very nice. So I guess you finished The Lost World. If you're hoping to start Tarzan, that's great. Sean D. Stanfast, the first Tarzan book is probably the best written. The rest are fun. Well, that's all right then. That's all right. And Philip, think I'm going to move on to Conan next. Yeah, I've been wondering about that. I know Michael always goes on about Conan and Robert E. Howard, and I'm just not. I just don't know. I just don't know if it's going to be my cup of tea. Recently got the complete collection, and maybe Midnight Plus One by Gavin Lyle. I like Gavin Lyle. I haven't read any of his more modern stories. I can't remember now the names of the one. It's like Somebody's Honor and Spy's Honor, is it? It's a small series set with an English officer, an Irish Batman, and an American femme fatale spy woman by Gavin Lyle. It's good fun. It's good fun. I think there's only 4 or 5 of them, and I've certainly read 2 or 3 of them. The Anne Thwaite bio of Goss is great. I haven't read it. Could be one to add to the list. Very detailed. Yeah, you see, that's the problem, Michael, when you can't concentrate in the heat. I think is the details kind of put you off. That's the fun about books like Tarzan, The Lost World, etc. Is you can just plow through them. Yeah. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I do like very detailed books, but I just have to be in the mood for them. It's like I'm reading as well the letters. What is it? I've got it here. Mozart's life in letters. It's brilliant, but there's of course so many footnotes and annotations and things which you need, but it does kind of spoil the flow of the reading process. And I find it very hard often to read these type of books on ebook, because I always seem to get lost. I mean, they have the links that jump between the footnotes and the main text, but somehow or other, I always end up getting, losing my place. Whereas in the book, it just slows me down. So, yeah. Yes, Sean, I guess I haven't heard a peep out of you with regards even to The Lost World. So I was wondering if you've got to that yet or not. But there's atmosphere, man. I mean, it's a steamy jungle they're in, so you can kind of relate to that, perhaps. Oh dear. Yeah. I was just wondering, did you know, Philip, what I meant? The Gavin Lyle books that I mentioned. Is it A Spy's Honor? It's I'm sure it is. It's a nice series. Gavin Lyle, Spy's Honor. Spy's Honor by Gavin Lyle. It's one of those books in that series. Yeah, okay, you might do, yeah. Yeah, they were good fun. I need to get back, or I'd like to get back to Hammond Innes, because I was recommended by Mark Richardson, and I read one of the books before I started something. I can't remember even now what was last month. June on the Range, before June on the Range, and it was great fun. And he's written a load of adventure books. Sean, not got to Lost World yet. Trying to complete the second B5 book. What's that? Is that a Simak or an Asimov? B5. Am I missing out something there? Second B5. I don't know. I'm guessing it's some science fiction, probably. Yeah. No. Jesus. Yeah, of course. Well, I was right. It is science fiction. Babylon 5. Yeah. Adam Hall. So, Philip, I've read one Innes, I think, years ago. Big fan of Adam Hall as well. Better known as Alison Trevor. The Quiller books are brilliant. Okay, I'm going to have to check those out as well. Gosh, there's so much. It's like watching Michael K. Vaughan's classic TBR. You know, I've just been on Amazon. I've had to get a couple of them. You know, it's expensive business doing BookTube. You know, everyone's recommending stuff, and it's like, yeah. I mean, it's one thing I do wish that I lived in the UK, because I would definitely, you know, take full advantage of the accessibility of English language secondhand books. Yeah, I just don't have that luxury here, unfortunately. Yeah, I can imagine, Philip. I understand it all too well. But at least you do have the option, Philip, to go on secondhand places and get them if it's something that you're not bothered by. I certainly wouldn't be bothered by them as long as they're in, you know, decent enough condition. And I think, you know, you can get some good savings, but just I haven't got the issue. Yes, Michael. What has happened to our erstwhile YouTuber from Boston? I'm assuming you mean Steve. I don't really know. You know, I can guess, of course, that he probably took offense to some video last week, perhaps. I don't know, but I mean, he's posting on Instagram still. I did speak to him briefly on Voxer with regards to the Warden read along, only for him to say that he's unable to continue it at the moment, at least, and that I should carry on without him. But it's just something I can't bring myself to do at the moment, you know, because I had gone through and you know, I'd pre-recorded most of the chapters already, because I you know, I knew that it might eat into me going back to work and starting work. So I thought, that's it. I'll just, you know, just get out a couple of these chapters a day, record them, put them up. And of course, I've referenced Steve's reading them, even though, of course, I haven't seen it because he hadn't done it. And I've deleted the original, so it would mean I'd have to download the ones I put up there and edit them. And, you know, so I don't know. I can't, you know, I think The Warden's a fantastic book. It's great fun. Anthony Trollope's great. But right now, I just haven't got the desire or energy to go back and read again and aloud all the chapters that Steve's not going to read. So it's a shame, because I wouldn't have started it if I couldn't have done it, you see. But I only did it. Steve asked me and I did it, and here we are. But I understand, you know, people have their own issues, and if he can't do it at the moment, then that's fine. I'll give him a bit of time, and he might come back and we'll do it. Otherwise, I will look at some point to finishing it off myself, but just not yet. Which I know is maybe disappointing to 3 people, but but I'm sure, you know, they'll get over it probably. So yeah. Dear, oh dear. I'm getting looked at. Somebody wants to go out in a minute. Philip, I'm finding it harder though to find vintage paperbacks, especially. Don't know what charity shops do with them. They must get them. Well, yeah. I mean, I know a load of mine went to them a couple of years ago, annoyingly. I don't know. You should ask Sean. He's a bit of a whiz at finding secondhand books. Although I think he tends to go, of course, for hardbacks. But yeah, I don't know what they do with them. Maybe check on some of these websites. Yeah, I think you can find things on. Problem is, of course, you can't really tell the condition of the book, and then you might get disappointed when it turns up, or they put the wrong picture for the wrong edition on there, and then they just send you something completely different. Same book, of course, but you might have judged it by its cover, and then proved to be disappointed when another cover was delivered to you. So, yeah. Seems to be a lot of newer stuff, mainly. eBay is what I usually resort to. Yeah. Well, that's odd then. If the charity shops are they selling them at newer book prices then, or is it just people buy them, don't read them, and then give them straight off to charity shops? Oh, I know what you mean. The content is more recent rather than the books being new. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So. Anyone going anywhere for the summer or been somewhere interesting for the summer? I've been here pretty much the whole summer. Haven't gone anywhere. I keep thinking I need to go back to the UK at some point, but it's difficult with Elvis as well. I don't really fancy or trust anyone to look after him. Especially for more than a night. So that's that makes things a bit trickier. But yeah, it does seem a lot of people are choosing to vacation and holiday at home these days anyway, or at least locally. The whole and I hate the expression, the whole staycation culture. But yeah, some nice places, of course, in the UK, I think, to go for holidays. Especially Philip living up in the Lake District, be nice. Though I guess it must be annoying for you if you're a local with all the tourists that come and visit the Lake District. All those people wandering lonely as clouds and whatnot. Was it Lake District or Peak District? Lake District, yeah. Yeah. So, dear. So 7 people and like 3 people talking. I wonder what the other 4 are doing. Just lurking. Oh dear. Well, 8 now. Okay, so there we go. I had a bit of a panic this week. Torrential rains and flooding all the used bookstores around me underground. That's horrible. Oh, my goodness. Did you rush over there and try to rescue as many as you could, or that's well, actually that's interesting, Vonta, because obviously you're in the Far East, and or at least I'm assuming you're still in the Far East. I don't know. Is it easy to get secondhand English books? I think in Hong Kong it wasn't too bad when I was there, for obvious reasons. But I don't know about where you are. I won't say it in case it's private. I don't know, but yeah. Philip, lots of tourists at this time of year, especially. Yeah, it's horrible. We have a few in our small town because it's quite picturesque. And bizarrely, actually, this weekend we've got Antonov air show. The old Ukrainian, I guess, Soviet planes, the Antonovs. So the I don't know if it's worldwide or Europe-wide meeting of Antonov Owners Society have descended on this town. So every so often you hear this kind of aircraft engines because they're taking people up on pleasure trips and skydiving things and all sorts. It's been a shame though because last week was beautiful. Next week's going to be beautiful, but the weekend's been quite overcast, so it's probably had an impact on people's enjoyment of that. But yeah, not sure I fancy it because these are planes people have really done up by amateurs, and they're quite big. Soviet aircraft, and I'm not sure I'd really fancy going up in one. I don't like flying at the best of times, so it wouldn't be something I would take part in. Hence why I haven't visited the exhibition on it really. And it's too hot. I think one of the worst places you can be is on an airfield. So yeah, it's not for me. Right. Elvis is looking out the window on the main street there because this time of day is like the promenade time. Everybody's had their Sunday lunch and off they go. Okay, Vonta. I just didn't want to say you were there because I didn't know if it was private or not. But you can find a small selection of used books in English. No, that's good. Yeah. I know when I was living in Japan, I couldn't. I wasn't in. I'm sure you could probably find some used books in Tokyo and some of the bigger cities, but I don't remember coming across any in Sapporo. I used to have to go to the Japanese bookshops, Kinokuniya or somewhere like that, and it was quite expensive. Though you could get some really good books there because, especially to do with Japan and stuff. They would always have like the Tuttle Publishing and that kind of thing, so you could buy some nice books on Japanese and East Asian history and literature and that kind of thing. So it was good. I had a really nice 3-volume set of the history of Japan, which I left with a friend, and unfortunately they since disappeared. I managed to get the same books again in a different and not as nice set, but at least I managed to track them down. So, so maybe just a couple more minutes, and then I have to take Elvis out for our promenade up and down. You take care, Philip. Enjoy your salad, and see you around, mate. I do envy you, Vonta, though, when it comes to the food, eh? I mean, you must have some pretty great food in Korea, in Seoul. I always enjoy visiting the, I guess authentic Korean restaurants in Japan and Hong Kong. It must be nice. Yeah, Korean barbecue. The thing I always wanted to try is I think it's a fairly new fad, is the whole Korean fried chicken craze. Looked amazing, some of that, I have to say. I shouldn't torture myself with this talk. But no, Korean barbecue is good. Yakiniku in Japanese, of course. And I used to enjoy that. Could never get it on a Monday, though. In my town, if you ever wanted yakiniku on a Monday, it was all the places seemed to be closed. So we used to call it No Meat Mondays. So, because that's the thing, eating out was so cheap. It was just easier to eat out rather than cook at home. It was silly to cook at home when you could just head out to some hole in the wall place and have a good meal for not very much. And say even in Japan, which everyone thinks is like super expensive, you can still get decent meals for not a huge amount of money. So yeah. Right then. So I think I will, unless anyone's got anything else to say, I think I'm going to go. I'm going to have to take Elvis out, and I need to. I'm hamster sitting as well for my neighbor. I need to go and check on the hamster and put him outside for a bit, get some fresh air. So, thanks, Michael. Yeah, it won't be a super long one. This time of day is just more of a round the block kind of toilet break, if you know what I mean. No, for him, not for me. Well, Vonta, Elvis didn't like the hamster, I have to say, so I have to do it separately. Last time I took him to meet the hamster, and the hamster came out of his his box, and Elvis just jumped back, and I thought, oh no, you know, how embarrassing that he's afraid of this thing that's like, you know, this big. But I guess that's nice. So, all right. Okay, everyone, do take care. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for joining. And sorry it was very impromptu. As I said, I just didn't know what else to do a video on today. I've got plans for tomorrow and other days, and I could have done my week on booktube, but you know, it was kind of hard week on booktube this week, so I thought I'd leave it until next time. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekends, and I shall see you all very soon. Do take care, everybody. Bye.